Hello friends. Welcome to the channel. Before we start, remember to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. The shadow of the giant, the challenge of Israel. In a time of great turbulence for the nation of Israel, the people lived under the constant threat of their neighbors, the Philistines. These, a strong warrior people, had dominated the lands of Canaan for years, and the rivalry between the two nations was incessant. The story that unfolds in the first book of Samuel, chapter 17, is not just a story of war, but a stage for faith, courage, and divine providence. The setting was the valley of Elah. On one side, the army of Israel, led by their king Saul; on the other, the Philistine army. The tension was palpable. Both sides were on opposite sides of a valley, and the military maneuvers seemed like a chess game, in which no one wanted to take the first step. However, the impasse was broken by an intimidating presence. Goliath, the Philistine giant, with almost 3 meters in height. Goliath was the personification of fear. His heavy armor, made of bronze, covered his head to his feet, and his spear, with a tip that weighed more than 6 kilos, was a weapon of mass destruction. For 40 days, he stood in front of the Philistine ranks, and launched a challenge that reverberated throughout the valley. Instead of a battle between armies, let both sides choose a champion to fight in singular combat. Whoever wins would determine the fate of the nations. If he hurts me, we will be your slaves. But if I hurt you, you will be our slaves. The offer was bold, but none of Israel dared to accept it. The giant's vision, with its strength and arrogance, paralyzed everyone. Saul, the great king, who should be the leader of his people, was taken by panic. The soldiers of Israel, once known for their bravery, were demoralized. The fear of Goliath was a dark cloud that covered the entire camp of Israel. And in this atmosphere of despair, an improbable character emerges, a young pastor, the 8th son of Jesse, from Bethlehem, David. The pastor and the battlefield, an unexpected call. The story of David does not begin in the valley of Elah. It begins long before, in a quiet pastoral field, under the sky of Bethlehem. David, a young man with a rosy face, beautiful eyes, was the youngest of his brothers. While they were serving in the army of King Saul, David was taking care of his father's sheep. It was a humble task, but crucial. In the silence of the fields, David developed his skill with the cover, protecting his flock of lions and bears. He learned to trust in God, to praise Him in the midst of loneliness, and to see the hand of God in every sunset, in every star. He was a young pastor, but his heart was that of a spiritual warrior. David's routine was interrupted when his father, Jesse, entrusted him with a simple mission: to bring bread and cheese to his brothers in the battlefield. It was a family task, a gesture of affection and support. David, obedient, left for the camp of Israel. Upon arrival, he found a discouraging scene. Instead of a fever of battle, he saw fear. Instead of courage, he saw whispers of despair. And finally, he witnessed the reason for all the paralysis. Goliath. David heard the giant proclaim his blasphemies. The voice of Goliath echoed, mocking the people of Israel. And what was most outrageous for David? Mocking the living God of Israel. Faced with this situation, David felt deep inside a growing concern, an urgent need to act. He could not bear seeing the honor of his God being trampled upon. So he made a decision that would change his life forever. He was going to confront the giant. The giant and the shepherd, a clash of identities. The news of David's intention spread quickly through the camp of Israel. Everyone doubted his plan, but no one understood his motivation. They thought he was acting out of pride, arrogance, and desire for fame. And so the day of the duel arrived. The entire nation of Israel anxiously awaited the outcome of the confrontation. David, calm and confident, approached the Philistine lines. On the other side, Goliath, confident in his strength, challenged the young shepherd. David, however, did not back down. He knew he was fighting for a cause greater than himself. He was fighting for the honor of God. The challenge was clear. It was a battle between two different worlds, between a seasoned warrior and an inexperienced shepherd, between brute force and unshakable faith. The fate of the nation hung in the balance, waiting for the outcome of the duel. Who would win? Would Israel fall into slavery, or would it rise to victory? Only time would tell. The battle, a giant, a shepherd, and a cover. The battle was unusual. Goliath, with his heavy armor and imposing spear, attacked David relentlessly. However, the young shepherd was agile and quick, managing to dodge the giant's attacks easily. Meanwhile, he waited for the right moment to strike. On the other hand, Goliath, surprised by David's agility and unable to hit him, became increasingly frustrated. The taunts and curses rained down on David, who remained calm and serene throughout the fight. The duel continued for some time, with Goliath becoming more and more furious and David more and more patient. Finally, the decisive moment arrived. David managed to get close to Goliath and with a well-aimed stone from his sling, hit the giant's forehead. The impact was fatal. Goliath fell to the ground, defeated by the young shepherd. The victory was not a result.